Hello everybody, welcome to episode 8 of the Nice Like That video cookery series. I'm your host Dave Razorboy Creel. We'll be doing pork ribs, St. Louis cut, not a baby back, not a spare rib, kind of in between. Nice looking ribs. Be doing some beef boneless short ribs. These beef short ribs have been marinating overnight. I've gone ahead and put together a dry rub for the pork ribs. I don't really believe in an awful lot of sauce. I like my ribs dry. You know, your rib aficionados, they go two ways. They go dry or wet, okay? I like mine dry. Put a rub on them. I've got my own concoction that I use. I mixed it together. It's a really good combination. I've been using it for years and years and years and years. It's kind of like Emerald's got his essence and Prudhomme's got his rubs. This is RB's meat dust is what I like to call it. Works really well on beef, pork, chicken, anything you want. I'd tell you what was in it, but then I'd have to kill you. I give out a lot of secrets on this show. I will not tell anybody what's in this. We're breaking in Gertie today. It's our rescue grill. She's been painted up, given a new set of clothes. She's looking good. We'll find out how she performs. I've never used this grill before. I've also got the Weber on standby, the old faithful, the old Weber, Dieter Weber, as I like to call him. This is episode 8, ribs. I'm going to go ahead and do the St. Louis cut ribs, pork ribs on her. Dieter Weber over there, I'm going to fire him up a little bit later because the short ribs, the beef short ribs will not take as long. It's going to be a timing issue with those. The pork ribs need to go a lot longer. Traditionally, I like to cook my pork ribs 2 or 3 hours. I don't know if I failed to mention this or not, but this Saturday is probably the hottest day of the year. We're looking at, on the thermometer, 106. With heat index, they're talking about 112, 113. So, your brilliant host, Dave Razorboy Creel, Nice Like That video cookery, has picked the hottest day of the year to cook outside on fire. I thought perhaps what I could do is just put the ribs in Gertie and pull the hood down and pull her out in the sun and they'd cook themselves, but I'm also going to go ahead and put together a barbecue sauce. Try something a little bit different, what I normally do. And I'll share that with you as we get it going. I don't know if you've noticed or not, those flames are coming up good. I've got my charcoal kind of set off to one side a little bit. I want a cool side and a hot side on my grill. That's cleaning, and that's a porcelain coated grate that's on that grill. Nice grill. It's a shame somebody was going to pitch her, and I'm glad we were able to resurrect her, get her back straight again. And we're going to try her out today, see what she'll do. Alright, we got the coals right in Gertie. I'm going to lower that fire pan, which I can do with this handle. Bring her on down a couple notches. Get that heat up off the grate. We're going to sear these. I've gone ahead and dusted them. We're going to put them on. We're going to sear them. We're going to move them to the cold side. Put a chunk of wood on there. Smoke them. Alright, see what I've done now. I've gone ahead. You can still see where the seasoning was stuck on the grate from browning that meat. I've browned those St. Louis cut pork ribs. I've added a big old chunk of oak, red oak, to the coals. We're going to go ahead and get this piece of oak smoking good. Basically, when I smoke pork or do anything on the grill with charcoal, the coals just basically give me a base to get things started. I cook mainly with wood, or sometimes when I don't have any charcoal, I'll do an all wood fire. It's just how I do. Now I'm going to control this heat. As you can see, we've got an indicator here, and we're still in the barbecue range right dead in the center, but I want to cut it back some to the left where it's smoke. I want to get her down about 160, 180 degrees. I can do that through the use of my vents. Gertie is actually working better than I had hoped. Just took a walk back towards the back part of the yard. I noticed a lot of smoke coming out of the back vents. Let's see what we got with raise the hood. There we go. Yeah. It's a good sign of a good grill. When you got your vents cut down low and you're still getting a little bit of flame on your wood, that is an excellent sign. What I'm going to end up doing is stacking this meat so Won't dry itself out. All right, there's Gertie. She's smoking, just like she ought to be. Go on ahead and fire it up Dieter Weber over there. We're gonna get the coals right. Get those beef short ribs on. Smoking up pretty good. I've got the vents closed on it. So what we're getting is around the hood. As long as you keep a little bit of fresh wood on there, I prefer oak and red oak and hickory. I will use maple on occasion. Maple's a little bit sweeter. All right, got the Weber hot. Got my beef here. Some really nice fat on this. We're gonna sear this. There she goes. Sear it up good. Get that thyme off of there. I don't want that to burn. So what we're doing basically is we're searing this beef. Real quick. Real down, real dirty. Thyme off of there. Get off of there. We get some color on it. We're going to turn it, spin the grill, put it on the cold side, and smoke it. Now, I got some pretty good color on these ribs. I've had to add a little bit more wood to the fire here. I've got them stacked. They'll stay moister like that. As you can see, the Weber's starting to smoke off of these short ribs in there. We're going to let them go for a little while. I may even end up transferring this stuff over into this one grill, moving them over to Gertie. She seems to be holding her heat pretty good. She'll probably hold it longer than Dieter will. So we may move them and put all this stuff together. Cook it for a while. Anyway we go, we've still got another hour or so to go cooking, at least. All right, at this point I've gone ahead and covered those beef short ribs up in foil. It's one sure way to make sure that they'll cook all the way through without drying out. Wrap them in foil, put them in a foil bed. I've done pretty much the same thing over here on Gertie. Pork ribs, as you can see, I've got a nice piece of oak down there blazing. Baking them indirect. I've got some nice barbecue sauce in here that I've put together. Take these meat drippings out of this aluminum foil, the beef and the pork, and add them to that barbecue sauce. That's the secret to good barbecue sauce, people. Not everybody knows that. You go to these really good barbecue restaurants, they make their sauce with pan drippings. You got to have it in there. It's an integral part, and it really makes the difference. Honestly, it does. You notice that those pork ribs are just looking delicious. And I have got, I don't know if you can see it or not, let's get in there. I've got this beef lined up underneath that pork. So stay moist. Almost exactly a year ago, we lost in the DC metro area what was probably, and I'm not the only one that felt like this, what was probably the best guy talk radio show in the history of the world. That would be the Big O and Duke Show. Through divine providence, they're back. We don't routinely promote other sites here other than RazorBoyProductions.com. BigOandDukes.com is somewhere you need to go. Now, you can say what you want to. That rib right there is perfectly done. Background noise and all, that rib is perfectly done. There's no doubt about it.